What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. You guys know who I am, and if you don't know who I am, shame on you. Shame on you, my friend. I am Phil Jones, Mike Jones, however you know me personally and professionally, and I am the host of the Extraordinary Man Podcast, and you guys know who this. Y'all know who he is, man. You know what it is in my Jermaine Dupri voice. Y'all know who this is right there. This man right here, this man right here, greatest
That be
co-host ever. Greatest co-host ever. Like he could do this without me. He don't even need matter of fact, I'm gonna just step out the front. He don't even need, okay, I'm gonna stay here for a minute. But he don't even need me to be here. He don't need me. I'm literally just here as a placeholder to make him look good. State your name, dog.
What's going on, man? As always, man, definitely appreciate the extraordinary intro. I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
Either direction, it's all gonna equal up. It's reciprocity, baby. It's all gonna come back to the same thing. So, anybody reading the title should automatically know what we finna do. We about to spend the next hour bashing women non-stop. I mean, we pulling out no stops whatsoever. I don't care how none of y'all feel. I'm about to say the most absolutely disrespectful stuff I can think of. And if y'all believe that, then y'all idiots. We at the Extraordinary Men, we don't condone bashing women. We don't condone disrespecting people that is unwarranted. What we do discuss is perspective on situations, people, things, life. And we speak from the place that we've been and the place of people around us. And we just share our stories and the stories of others who are unable to share those stories for themselves. We use our platform to discuss what's on our mind or what's on the mind of the people that we represent. With that much being said, women are the greatest evil mankind has ever produced. They are great because when it all boils down, they will be our best friends and our greatest adversaries. They are the greatest evil because they are man's number one weakness. Would you agree to that?
That's probably like our only, to be honest.
I don't care what story you listen to in history. Somehow, some way, women played a part in it. But we're not going to go down the proverbial lifeline of women and their relationship with men. We're going to talk about is the good, the bad, the ugly. What happens is that in social media and the manosphere, whatever you want to call it, red pills, television, whatever circumstance you want to call it, there's a lot of conversations about the role that women play in a man's life, how women should be treated, how men should be treated, the standards that a man must put himself into if he wants to get the best options for women, the type of women that are more valued and desired over others. I like these conversations because it really gives perspective to have conversations on where a lot of society has gone wrong as far as what they have valued versus what actually mattered. And I like to touch on a couple of those things. So, Midas, I'm going to ask you this question. I want you to delve into it however you see fit. Do you feel that it has become a derogatory term to be called wife and mom in modern
Yes,
day?
100%. It's all and I think I mentioned it yesterday's podcast that baby mama is now an accolade. It is now a level of achievement over wife and mom. Hot girl summer, like all these terms are now accolades to hit. These are now milestones to hit now. um I remember having a conversation with one young lady, and I had said that a lot of women today, not all, got to put the disclaimer, But a lot of women today have not been raised to be a wife. And she just went berserk. Like, oh, that's disrespectful. And you make it seem like that a wife is a job or duty, or you know what I'm saying, we supposed to be subservient and all this and that. And I'm like, that's nowhere near what I was saying. Like, you completely took what I said and you molded it and twisted it into how you heard that. So yeah, we definitely have lost um generations of, you know, and it's not just women. It's some guys out there that are definitely some knuckleheads for sure. But when grandma and mama and now daughter, when all those generations are on this hot girl summer kick, all of them kicking it together, all of them are celebrating teen pregnancy, all of them are celebrating having babies out of wedlock, when all of them are rolling in that same bandwagon. Yeah, you're not gonna have morals and values and everything else that's supposed to come along with that develop. It's arrested development.
Do you think that there is a disconnection between men and women as far as what we are looking for out of each other and our perception of what each other are looking for?
Yeah, so um I feel like today, I ain't gonna say feel. I think that today, the man is more of an accessory, or being pushed into the accessory category. Um, we're pretty much treated like a Gucci bag, or just a wallet. And that's all a man has pretty much been predicated to, push towards. If he ain't making 100K, a six figures or above and all that, then he's basically a worthless man. Um, and that's been, pushed through social media heavy, on top of men's expectations and wants and needs and things of that nature have completely been diminished. We're not allowed to have standards. We're not allowed to have opinions. Um, we're not allowed to not want our women to look a certain way. We're not allowed to not want our women to want to be a boss bae, and everything else that comes along with that. We have completely just been swept under the rug, and we're only like I said, an accessory and a wallet.
I mean, do you think that that's representative of the whole or the majority, or is it just a loud minority?
I want to say is, and I can only speak for us, because we were able to climb through the noise and make our way through the noise and find decent, women that do support us and things of that nature. So I want to say that it's a loud minority, but it's being pumped so much. That loud minority is making so much noise that it's now becoming ideology. It's now becoming life. Like that's what it is.
So you think it's starting to take on a lifestyle of its own?
Yeah, there was a video that went viral, I want to say a few months ago, where you had a lot of the indigenous women overseas are starting to now get into wearing all this makeup and the long horse hair and walking a certain way and all that. So yeah, it's starting to hit heavy. It's starting to take over.
Well, you got to remember one thing, that here in the United States, we habitually have been the pioneers of a lot of pop culture. So when people see things that we do here, it is popularized elsewhere. It's like that's why, like Europe, it said that they have such a greater appreciation for like, hip hop, whereas we have long gone past what the traditions of hip hop used to be. Places like France, Germany, Belgium, Denmark, they still appreciate the essence of what it used to be.
What it used to be, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
and
it's
I can
like,
speak to that because when I was in Paris, I can definitely speak to that because when I was in Paris, yeah, it really was like that. It was you had your biggies, you had your Nas, all that being played. Like none of the new music was being played.
and there's also a part to that where the new stuff may just not have made it over there yet. So let's just it just may not have caught. It's like I was telling somebody that when you look at countries in Europe that are more, I guess you would say, more sexually liberated, well, the religion that a lot of us hold on to was introduced to this land at a certain period of time by a certain group of people, whereas it had already ran its course over there. So it started to dwindle down and have less of an impact. Whereas over here, people are still trying to hold on to some of that. Whereas over there, it's no longer as big of a deal as it used to be, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So something that starts someplace first, they're over it sooner than others.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the ones who are still kind of adjusted to tradition are usually isolated groups who don't have a lot of access or a lot of dealings with the outside. So you think about um, Orthodox Jewish tradition, Orthodox Muslim traditions. You think about certain groups of people, like even the Amish, or certain groups who kind of section themselves off to where they don't partake in what the outside world is doing. And that's how they keep certain traditional values over time so they don't feel the need to adjust to what's going on.
Mm.
And with that, it's like you look at a lot of what people are asking for as far as, oh, well, I'm looking for a traditional situation with a woman or a traditional situation with a man. But it's like the other part doesn't want to abide by traditional. Well, what exact tradition are we referring to? Whose tradition? So if you say, this is all hypothetical, you say, okay, well, I'm a Christian man. As a Christian man believes in one woman, one man. That's it. Nothing else. Now, in an Orthodox society, you may be shielded from all of the temptations of the world. Whereas in this non Orthodox society, in this extremely sexualized, overly perpetuated society, just going on Instagram is almost like what going on a porn website was when we were teenagers.
Mm.
Well, every other Instagram woman that you look at, you go a couple of sections further in, like peel a layer or two back, and there's an OnlyFans page. I can get it all, just like that. No waiting. I can Google search, and within seconds, be taking down whatever illicit experience that I want to have.
Mm.
There's nothing left to the imagination. So, how does somebody maintain traditional values in a society to where every temptation possible is at your fingertips?
Well, I think at this point, like we don't even know what traditional values are and what that even means, what that even looks like. We've moved like so far away from that.
Well, I mean, the thing is that when people say that they want traditional relationships, do you think that they really truly want traditional relationships?
I don't think that they understand what a traditional relationship is. Like I said, we're so far removed from that now. So when you say traditional, you have a lot of individuals that say that they want 50-50, or they want to be able to work or get their own bag and all this and that. But there's nothing traditional about that. Tradition, you handle the household, I handle the bacon. I bring home everything that we need, and then you cultivate everything that I bring home. You turn it into what it needs to be. You handle what it needs to be. That's tradition. So you can't say, yeah, I'm traditional where I cook and clean and I do this and I do that, but I also, you know what I'm saying, go do my OnlyFans and then me and my man, we 50-50 everything. That's not tradition.
What do you what do you think that people are looking for when it comes down to, and I'll say people, like when it comes down to men, from your experience, what is some real advice that you would actually give to a young man that wants a serious relationship?
Uh, the only thing that we I could really give somebody today is to really take your time. This is what I would this is what I wish I would have been told. To one, I would say focus on yourself first and make sure that you are accomplishing all the goals that you want to achieve first. Build yourself first. Focus on you. Get you if you want to go to college, get your degree. Just focus solely on that. You want to be a doctor, saying, become established in that. Whatever it is that you're trying to do all that first. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say you can't go ahead and have your little fun. Make sure you protect it. You know what I'm saying? But get all of that done first. If you want to be a business owner, get your business up off the ground and it's flourishing and it's running on its own. Do all that first. So that way, when you do decide to finally start looking for a mate, that the way that you have built your life, you now have an exact position and spot for that woman to fill in on. Okay. I'm looking specifically for this. I built my life like this. I got this going. I need you to come in and I need you to handle this, this, and this. I need you to move this way. I need you to move that way. Can you do that? But if we're at the beginning phases where we're trying to establish ourselves, and then you got that woman along with you, and again, I ain't gonna say there's nothing wrong with that, but you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna start bumping heads now to where you're trying to continue to establish yourself and grow and build and get bigger and get more wealth, things of that nature. And then as time progresses and you are becoming more established, you're going to start having more different requirements of your lady, and she's probably not going to be on board with that. It's going to be more difficult. So that would be my best advice, is to do you first. Get you up off the ground and get you complete all the way, not halfway, not some way, not 98%, 100%. Get yourself all the way straight. Then go after the lady.
I agree with that. I mean, I feel like one of the most important things that you can do is develop yourself, because most importantly, you don't want to bring somebody into a situation to where there's nothing there. You don't want to bring somebody into an unstable environment to where you're flip flopping every so often, because now you're still on your path of trying to figure out who you are, and then now you're trying to carry the load of carrying somebody else down that threshold with you. I think that it's very confusing, it's very misleading, and it's very disingenuous to a woman to say that you're ready for love and you can barely take care of yourself. Because to love somebody, in our sense, is to be in position to take care of them. Well, I can't fully care for you emotionally, because when I fall short in an area, it's going to be a blow to my emotions and a blow to my ego. And then I'm occupied with trying to salvage that moment. And there's emotional damage to a woman that actually cares for you in
Mhm.
retrospect. It's hard for a woman to respect a man that is unstable. There's nothing respectable about you. You have to understand that she needs to be able to, like, one thing I told a guy a couple of days ago, I was like, what I'd like to see from more guys going forward is focus on doing things that make you respectable. And he says, what does that mean? I'm like, when I think of somebody that's respectable, I think of somebody who I can set my watch on them. I think of somebody who I know what I'm going to get when I pick up the phone and I call you. I can count on the fact that if I pick up the phone and I say, hey, there's money to be made. All right, let's go get it. If I can call and say, hey, I need an idea, or hey, I need whatever. Having that in your back pocket and knowing that you have access to certain things and certain people who are guaranteed, at least to the best of your ability, that they're going to be solid in that department. That's a value that is irreplaceable.
Mm-hmm.
And whether people realize it or not, it is hugely important that people get to the place to where they start to develop themselves to being people that I know when I think of this name, this comes up, this comes up, this comes up, this comes up. Consistent, dependable, hardworking, assertive. Instead of this, sometimes wish-washy,
Maybe.
half-ass, insert negative connotation here. But regardless of what it is, there's always that peace. That peace is very consistent with developing yourself to be an individual that can be respected. And the easiest way to earn respect is to earn it. Takes years to build. Consistent practice. You have to be known for something to be respectable. Even if it's just please and thank you. My mood is not going to change and alter me being courteous. Yeah, you know Mike Jones, yeah, he's always so nice. So genuine. He always helps the old ladies across the street. Every time that he comes to the park, he's always picking the kids up and he's always doing like he's just so good with kids. The kids just love him. They just run to him. I don't understand. They just flock to him. Whatever it is that you're known for, you have to be consistent in that thing. And that's what I want to see more of from young men is doing things to earn your respect.
Yeah, we got to understand that. You know, mentioned it before. You know, just because you're a man, don't mean that you're obligated to respect.
Just because you're an adult don't mean you're a man.
Exactly.
Just because you're an adult don't mean you're a man. 18, 21, 25, 36, don't matter. Have you earned the title of being seen as a man? Matter of fact, let's go there. What is a man? What is the extraordinary man's definition of being a man? In essence of what it is that we provide as far as a value to women.
Well, we got our three pillars. We got our three starting points. You got to be in control of your money. You got to be in control of your household. You got to be in control of your emotions. That's the starting point. Let's see what the actual definition of a man is, and then we'll break off from that. Okay, I don't like that definition. It says a human being of either sex, a person.
Well, look at it from this perspective. Because when you say man, you could be talking about mankind as a species rather than talking about man as an individual.
That's what they mean for sure. But
I mean, today it's so ambiguous that it's just kind of like, you know, you have to. You have to delve a little bit deeper.
Sentence. It's because of the sentence that they used in context with it. It's goodwill to all men.
Right.
But your definition, so never mind. If it was goodwill to all mankind, but you know what I'm saying, it's a confusing definition when you break down the sentence that they use to verify what it meant. But a human being of either sex. Okay, an adult male human being, a tall man with a beard, entered the restaurant. Verb.
You gotta excuse me. I'm over here sweating like a
Man, them lights get hot, man. I'm y'all can't tell, but under this hat, I'm sweating.
well, I'm in Florida, bro. Like I'm sweating like a rapper
You
in an
make it
interrogation
feel like
room,
it's
bro.
Florida. The personnel work at, run, or operate a place or piece of equipment or defend a fortification. The firemen man the pumps and fought the blaze. Okay. Okay. Another definition. This is from the Merriam. An individual human, especially an adult male, a male belonging to a particular category as by birth, residence, membership, or occupation. That's a bit better.
That's an interesting title.
That's a bit better.
That's interesting.
All right. What is the definition? Hold on. Okay. Now, this is a definition that I like. Okay. This is from Socrates. This is from Socrates.
Let's go.
Socrates says a man who always considers his actions and acts in a good and just manner. To me, that is a justified definition. That is a man to me. I don't think just being an adult makes you a man.
I absolutely like that definition. I'm gonna tell you why I like that definition. Because it's something to strive for. It gives you something to strive for. It gives you something to work toward attaining.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to just walk in the door and just claim to be a member of this particular club.
Mm-hmm.
To be a member of the Manhood Club, you have to check certain boxes to verify that you are who you say you are.
This is what Aristotle says. Aristotle says, a good man acts unto virtue and derives his happiness and pleasure from that virtue. So we have a man who was prudent, virtuous, and just.
I can rock with those.
Yeah.
I can rock with those.
It's way better than what, saying Merriam and Oxford had to say.
Well, you have to understand that despite the definitions, I think that we need to create a standard. And to be considered a man amongst the men that we are, here is our standard. You can look up a bunch of different definitions and get a bunch of different responses, a bunch of different answers. And each one of them don't necessarily gel with the type of people that we like to be around. When you think about the type of men that you like to be around, that you like to sit down and have a beer with, that you actually like to sit down and pick their brains, that you like to get to know, that you like to gain more understanding of, what is an example of those men and what do they do? For me, those kind of men say what they mean what they say. They don't open up their mouth and be quick to respond, but they listen intently and they respond accordingly. They're action oriented. They see an opportunity, they take the opportunity. They're not afraid to make mistakes. And believe it or not, I work every day to strive to be more of the man that I see as my ideal man. I am literally standing here with half of the body chiseled, and I am chiseling away at myself every single day to say, you know what? I am tired. I don't want to do this. I want to stop early. I want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to clean this up. I want to sleep an extra hour. I don't, I'm not going to work tonight. I'll just call in, or whatever the circumstances may be. When you sit there and you look at yourself and every personal obstacle that you overcome gives you character and definition.
Let's go there. Let's talk about characters and the definitions of those characteristics. So it's crazy that you said that, because I started looking at actual qualities within that definition that we gave from Socrates and Aristotle, and giving it actual, characteristics behind that. So I found a list of 10 qualities that I think actually are pretty solid. So number 1, we got fearlessness. And the definition behind that is you are supposed to be a risk taker. You become a man taking risks. We're not playing it safe. You're supposed to go out and try to get the big job, the win big. You have to be fine with losing it all, because that then turns into the next one, which is a fighter spirit. You're never supposed to give up. Number 3, you're supposed to stand up for your beliefs. A man who isn't ashamed of who he is and what he represents. Number 4 is an easy one: integrity. This should be, hold on. I'll keep jumping. Integrity. A real man doesn't demand respect. He commands respect.
What does that mean?
It says he always keeps his word. What you was just saying. He always keeps his word. He always makes his promise. He makes a promise and he keeps it. He knows the importance of words and chooses them carefully. That's what builds his character. You just spoke on that. He must have strong mental strength. It should be hard to break you. You can be sensitive, but you should definitely be strong enough not to let the emotions break you down. Taking what is yours. This is a new one. It says, nobody in this world has the power to rob a man of what he truly deserves in life. A real man never lets anybody take him for a ride. He knows how to take what belongs to him. What do you think about that?
That's pretty self-explanatory, pretty self-evident. I like it.
7, accepting failure. A real man doesn't play the blame game. We spoke about that too. He has the courage to own up to his mistakes. He knows that his problems are consequences for his own doings. Rather than sulking about his unfair life, he accepts his failure and works towards taking life by the horns. I like that a lot.
I do. I like that a lot.
Number 8, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these, if you go back and listen to a lot of our podcasts, we've actually spoken about all of these characteristics. We may not have spoken about them all like this, running down the list at one time, but we have spoken about all these from time to time. Okay. Number 8, knowing your worth. A real man always knows his worth. He knows what he's good at, and he knows what he deserves in life. He knows what he's born to do and excels at it. Does that sound like destiny?
A little bit.
You know, I became a little bit more open minded around that destiny conversation. That's
Yeah,
definitely touching destiny right there.
absolutely.
Number 9, knowing what is right. A real man is wise enough to separate his personal bias from what is right. He is always informed enough to take the right decision.
You know, I will. I want to stop right there, and I
You
want
want
to
to
take from what we've just discussed. And what I would like to do is I would like to say that okay, we have indulged on all the different components of what a man is. What I want to know, because don't forget the title of our show, we're talking about women, right? What is the benefit that women get from a man who embodies these qualities?
What they're gonna get is they're gonna get a man.
Let us tell her what she's won.
What's up?
So let us tell her what she's won.
You're gonna get a man that is going to be able to, and these are the basics. You're gonna get a man that's gonna be able to provide for you, protect you, uh be able to be there for you emotionally when needed. You're going to be able to get a man that is going to be able to fulfill not only his needs but your needs as well. I mean, you get a lot of things from a man that is on his purpose and knows where he's going and what he wants to get out of life. And you definitely are going to get stability because he is going to have a plan laid out for you to where either accept the plan so you can fit right in and roll along with the plan and do your part in the plan, or you don't accept the deal. It's that simple. He's giving you an opportunity to come into something that's already established and you make it and you help make it better.
I agree with that. No, let's take it a step further than that. First and foremost, a coward can't lead. A coward can't lead. A coward cannot take you someplace that he is afraid to go himself. That's something that you have to understand is that if you want to be led and you want a relationship where a man is the leader of that household, a man that cannot lead himself can't take you anywhere. A man that does not have integrity will lie to you because he lies to himself every single day.
He can't, he's never going to have respect for you. He can't respect you because he has no respect and can't respect himself.
It's literally a situation where when you look at this, and it's like, as men, the things that we have to remember that our chief responsibility on this earth is to protect women. I gave somebody this analogy once before, and I told them that life for a woman should be very simple. And I think that when you give women too many keys and you tell them figure it out for themselves, that you are taking them out of the realm of what they do best. Case in point, in a traditional, using the word traditional situation, a father raises his daughter. Once his daughter is eligible for marriage, he then passes the responsibility of protecting that daughter to the husband. And now that husband's responsibility now is to continue protecting her until she dies. So he's going to protect her with his current finances. He's going to protect her with his life insurance. He's going to protect her with every statistical advantage that he can provide her with based on his own intellect and abilities. In exchange for that is that she's going to give him a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know what a legacy is not information and values. A legacy is money and somebody to pass it down to. You have to have something of value and an heir to have a legacy. A woman will provide you an heir. She brings life into the world. That is her chief responsibility. That's not saying that's all she can do or all that she should do. What it's saying is that this is her chief responsibility because this is what her body was created to do. What do we got here? Say, I feel like the certain point being independent woman can damage a relationship, but to be honest, we've been trained to be that way.
That's what I said earlier.
Let me tell you something
I
about
said earlier,
independent,
when
right?
grandma and mama and the daughter are now all homies, there's no training. There's
Hold on, let's put this independent woman nonsense to rest real quick, okay? Jam, go ahead and stick around for a minute. See, when you dealing with the extraordinary men, we don't deal with how we feel. We deal with real definitions, real words, and real life application. And this is nothing I'm saying to you. I'm just saying I just want to give some perspective on this whole concept of independent woman, right? It's definition time. Let's get to it. The word independent is defined as free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. So, self-sustaining, self-supporting, self-sufficient, self-reliant.
self.
So let's really look at.
You're gonna go through
But
by
let's look
yourself,
at
and
that.
you're gonna die by yourself.
No. Let's do this because I got to walk it all the way down. I got to walk it all the way down. I don't care how independent a person thinks they are. You're not chopping down the trees to make the house that you live in. The money that you earn, you are dependent on somebody giving you a job, buying a product or a service that you have to sell. We are interdependent naturally. They only use this crap word called independent when it's reference to a man.
Mm-hmm.
You're not using when it says I'm independent when it comes down to earning money, like I just dig holes for a living. You're not independent in any other area of your life except when it comes down to dealing with a male counterpart. It's funny to me that we continue to allow this fallacy of independence to be used in popular culture over and over again. Understand the fact that the root of independence means freestanding and alone. There's nothing that you do that is alone. Nothing. There's nothing that we do that's alone. So when we talk about this whole, we were trained to be independent. No, we were trained to be disobedient. We were trained to be defiant. We were trained to do everything that we should be doing in a relationship for ourselves. That's what it was. To say I don't need a man, cool. That's great. That's fantastic. Wouldn't it be good to have one? Companionship. What about the stuff that money can't talk about? So therefore, you get sick, something happens to you. Wouldn't it feel good to have him by your side? What about all the value that we provide that money cannot fix? Say, think about it. When we are little girls, we are given dolls to take care of, little kitchen sets and cleaning supplies. We're already trained to play that role in society. But there has been a switch of not trusting men and having to do it for ourselves, not because the man can't or won't provide or protect on the family, but because a partner can pass away and you are left to continue on. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and I just have to say it this way. Jamila, everything that most of us have been taught is a lie. The majority of what we have been taught is a lie. Point blank, period. Money is a lie. Land ownership is a lie. It's all an idea. It's an abundant resource of things that is here on the earth, that has been on the earth for however long the earth has been here. And we have let people convince us that you can purchase a piece of it. It's all a lie. It's all a fallacy. Understand something. What did we do before money became a thing? How did we communicate before money became a thing? How? How did we do it? There was a point in time in history that for our very survival, we had to work together.
Yeah.
When that aspect of our survival was no longer a factor and somebody dangled a carrot and said, hey, there's an alternative. We can give you the bare minimum for your survival, but you got to get rid of him. We were already living our lives to where we were given the bare minimum anyway. Because of opportunities, because of other things that were going on, we were already there. So either two people thought it was a good idea to try out the new pilot program, or one person thought it was a great idea to say, I can get all of the benefit without the responsibility. Has nothing to do with the dolls. Has nothing to do with anything outside of the fact that to be programmed to believe that I am better off by myself. At some point in time, we are absolving ourselves of choice, of free thinking and ability to say, you know what? Yes, I can do it, but should I do it? Yes, I can jump off the Brooklyn Bridge or jump inside a Navy Pier dead of winter, but should I? Yes, I can put my hand on the hot burning stove, but should I? Just because I have the option to do something stupid does not mean that I should jump at the opportunity to do something stupid. And that's what happens when we take our abilities to work together as man and woman. Sorry about preaching, y'all.
No, but you're right though. You know what I'm saying? Look, here's what it is, man. it's like the money play isn't being recognized. They're not paying attention to the money play that's going on here, and how the whole divide and conquer is happening. Look, she got a house, he got a house. They got kids. Okay. You spoke about this already too. You know what I'm saying? It's beds over here for the kids. It's beds over there for the kids. It's a car over here for them. It's a car over here for them. It's groceries over here for them. It's groceries over there for them. It's the money play that's going on, and they're not recognizing it. Also, when welfare and Section 8 and all that rolled around, they took the deal. They took the deal and we got pushed to the side. Hey, we gonna give you this, we're gonna give you that, we're gonna take care of you, we're gonna cover, your rent, we're gonna give you this and da 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 and some WIC and all this and link and da 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 da. But you can't have Buddy in the house.
I had somebody bring up an interesting point when it came down to that. The one thing that you don't hear about is how many men were willing participants in that. I have to, if I'm going to be fair and if I'm going to administer any criticism or any thoughts or any beliefs elsewhere, I have to say that there had to have been willing participants to say, hey, let's try it out. Let's try it out. Because there's still one looming question. Where did the fathers go? Because if you were kicked out of the house or that you were removed from the parental unit and everything else because of the subsidies or whatever have you, where did you go? Did they just go to the island of deadbeat dads? Like, where did they go? Did they just cease to exist? They just die off? Mass incarceration didn't come around to the 90s. Welfare came around in the 60s and 70s. Where did the fathers go? If you couldn't be around the house, does that mean that you still couldn't play a role with the kids outside the house? Where did they go?
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, that's not saying that over the years, what was a seemingly good thing at one point in time ultimately became weaponized and started being used in a malicious way. That's not to say that that did not happen. But unfortunately, there's so much data that is missing that we don't know that other part of it. There's questions. And as we have indicated, the quality of the questions that you ask will ultimately indicate the quality of the answers that you receive. So I would like to know, where did that dad go? If they say that up until the 1960s that you had 25, 30% single parent households, and then these subsidies were introduced and all of a sudden that number exacerbated. Okay, well, in that initial group, the placebo group or the test group, where did that first set of dads go? Will we ever get to hear that story? About, did he just sit around patiently? Did he go back to the South? Where did he go? What did he do? Did he just completely abandon all parental responsibilities? Oh, well, you're going to get a check from the government and you don't need me. Well, I'm just going to go ahead. What did he do? I want to know that part of the story too. I want to know how many guys sat back and they sat at the table and he was sitting there looking at his opportunities and it was looking bleak and he just, as he got defeated, and said, you know what? That sounds like a better deal than what I could provide you with. Why don't you go ahead and try it out? And then once he agreed to it, his shame made him walk away and go hide his head and never return.
That sounds plausible.
But again, it's like, with that being said, it's like, we don't get that part. That's the part I want to hear about, because it's like sometimes it's easy to sit back and say, oh, well, the women did this, and because the women did that, and because Big Mama did this, because there's pieces of the story that's missing. We don't hear the testimony of the men. We see the data, we see the result, and we automatically assume that it was the women and it was greed. There's so many gray areas and points that if you just use some critical thinking and say, there's other pieces in there that we don't have the answers to. Because we see men in child support court that they walk away with their head in shame because they get beat up by the courts. We see guys who they don't make very much money and they get taken to the cleaners and get put in situations. We see guys who they already feel like losers and they just walk away. They're broken. Because again, we're not talking about the vast majority of men. I don't feel like I feel like I don't make a lot of money based on what I feel I'm capable of doing. But I've over double earned the average man in America last year. And for me to be for me to be still living in an apartment, knowing that I out earned the average man in 2022 times 2.5, and I'm still in an apartment, that's telling to me about the plight of the average man. So if I feel like I didn't give or I didn't get all of my just due or I wasn't my best, imagine what the $40,000, $30,000 earner feel.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Imagine the man who got XYZ amount of kids, or he had baby mamas first before he finally matured and got his life together, and he getting taken to the cleaners every time he turned around. He can't seem to get his head together. What about the guy who he behind and they take his driver's license from him so he can't make no money? What about the guy that he went to go serve time and they won't give him an opportunity to get a decent job? So he's struggling for crumbs and he really trying to play a role with his kids, but now he's ashamed because all the time that he done been away, he don't know how to reconnect. Insert scenario here. Insert any scenario here. Like imagine the plight of them, speaking from me and my perspective and how I feel about self. Just imagine what somebody who earns less than half of the money that I earned last year, imagine what he feels. We don't get to hear his side of the story. His side of the story gets ignored. Too often they want to let us hear the woman's point of view in a lot of those situations. And not often enough do we hear a man be vulnerable enough to say, man, I feel defeated, dog. I'm hurt, G. I just need to, I just want to cry, but I ain't got nowhere to go. I ain't got nowhere to talk to. I'm down, man. I'm down. Like I done contemplated suicide. I'm down. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. There's no place for me. We don't hear it.
And that's society pushing men off on, saying, suck it up. Don't show emotion. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out. You a man. Figure it out. Give me a second, baby. And you're right. We don't have nowhere to go. And that's why Extraordinary Men exists, because we built this platform for that, to give our perspective on things and for an opportunity of an establishment where men can come and have those type of talks and conversations so they don't have to feel alone, so they don't have to feel like they shut out. They can come here, they can lay it all out.
I sit here and I look at things in the perspective of what I would like to be to the women in my life, to the women that I love so much. What I like to be is I like to be somebody who can solve the problem. I don't even always know what the problem is. I have a full understanding of the problem, but I don't always want to be just throw money at it. But I sometimes want to be the pillar of wisdom that can sit down and listen to a situation to help you sift through it. I want to be able to, man, I'm just so glad that I want to feel like my presence is valued and like every day that you're around me, that you respect me because I bring such a value to your life. I don't know a single man that don't feel the same way. Like, yeah, money is good. Yeah, being able to provide things and provide quality of life, better food, better school, and better opportunities, like that's great. But just to be in a position to where you are respected and you are seen in the light of being a man amongst the women that you care about the most, is an amazing feeling. And a lot of men don't know what that feel like. And due to that, a lot of women are losing out on the benefit of having a quality man. And when you think about the reciprocal nature of all the negativity that goes back, the fact that so many men are in positions to where they are not getting themselves into positions to be deemed or seen as the most respectable version of themselves. And then society pushing a narrative to say, if he's not this much, like you create tick marks for what you believe a man should be. And when a man can't reach those tick marks, he's not worthy of respect in your eyes. It's just a negative spiral. It's a negative spiral. And society is just playing the puppet strings because they know that this person over here, you are so weak that you will believe that you really care about a man being 6 foot and earning 6 figures. You are so brainwashed that you really, truly think that that's what you care about. That really and truly, a man that make you laugh, a man that keep you fed, a man that helps you take care of the basic needs that you have, and also provide you with some of your wants, that is literally all that you want.
I don't think it gets any more simpler than that. I mean, just on the opposite end where, what a man wants. All the men want, honestly, if you really break it down to the most common denominator, all we really want is just a nice, caring woman. That's it. Real simple. Just be nurturing. That's it.
We just want some respect. That's it.
That's it.
Just some respect.
Please stop.
For those who don't know, Extraordinary Men, we are actual fathers, not part-time but full-time. And every once in a while, you're going to hear a kid in the background. That's what makes our podcast different because we are real-time, real-life fathers. You may see my daughter peek out the shadows and ask me something I don't want to answer right now, and me give her the daddy face in between the podcast because I live a real life. And despite this thing that we do here, we are real men with real lives. The things that people respect us for. And excuse my daddy face, I might have got a little cross-eyed on the computer and stuff. On a lighter note, guys, go ahead, Midas. Let me get some of your put some sauce on them ribs real quick so we can close out.
Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. This one was definitely a deeper topic, but we really wanted to spread, some perspective on how we feel that society is moving and what we can do to try to rectify the situation. And that's what we are. We are a perspective show. We don't give advice. We don't try to tell people how they should live. We just talk about topics that are out in the world, and then we give our own perspective on it. We try to come to some type of conclusion on it, how we can fix it. And we also talk about our own personal experiences. So with that being said, please head over to our YouTube channel. Please use your communication device. I like to call it your cyborg. Oh, I got it upstairs. Please use your phone and scan that QR code so that you can tap in on our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, and click the bell. We go live every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Tuesday and Friday is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Saturday is 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Starting this Monday, which I gotta start, getting prepared. But starting this coming Monday, I will be doing Money Mondays with Midas. So make sure that you tap in with that. That's probably also going to be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The purpose of the show is to try to get people up and moving on stock investment, really starting to understand currency, really starting to, build your financial IQ. And I want people to understand that you don't need 10, 20, 30, $1 million to start getting into investments and, getting into the S&Ps and your VOOs and all of that. So I completely cleared out my investment account, and I'm going to start building or rebuilding my investment account with you. We're going to build it together, and I'm going to show you that all it really takes is as little as $1 to start investing and becoming owners of these Fortune 500 companies. It really takes that little. So I want everybody to start getting involved. I want everybody to start investing, and I want everybody to feel that you can do it. So, and I'm gonna walk it through with you. I'm gonna do it with you. All right. Also, make sure that you hit us up on a Facebook group, the Extraordinary Men Facebook group, and that's where you can tap in with us directly. Any questions, comments, concerns. We talk about finances. We talk about mental health. We talk about whatever. You know what I'm saying? We talk about man issues. That's where you need to link with us so we can politic and we bring what we talked about to the show, and then we spread it to the world and we give our perspective on it. All right. Also, as Mike mentioned earlier, where men don't have a place to go. You down, you losing it, you going crazy, you don't know where to turn. The Extraordinary Men podcast was built specifically for that purpose. It's not only just to help us, because I learn things every single day. Just yesterday, I learned the differences between destiny and destination, and really thoroughly understanding the definition and how that, molds into your life of where you're trying to go and what you're trying to be and how you're trying to conduct yourself. So I learn things on this podcast all the time. So it's not just for me, it's not just for Jones, but it's for y'all too. And this is where men can come together collectively and we can start discussing these things and having these conversations, because I'd rather listen to your story rather than to go to your funeral. I promise you that. I promise you that. I really do. All right. So tap in with us. I am. Oh, wait. I can't do that because you didn't do yours first. Oh, man.
So I'm Phil Jones. Mike Jones, however you know me personally and professionally. And I am the host of the Extraordinary Men podcast. And you guys know who this extremely insatiable, money-focused, money-minded, great personality, best brother ever. If I could tag that on the side of a hat, I would. But I don't personally own an embroidery machine. But if I did, I still wouldn't do it because that costs money. And he ain't about wasting money to be doing stuff. But I definitely get a sticker to say, what's your name?
Man, once again, appreciate the most extraordinary intros and outros. I'm happy to be, on this podcast with you. It is an honor. And I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. We look forward to seeing y'all on Tuesday, checking us out live as always. Oh, I'm sorry. We look forward to seeing y'all Monday for Money Mondays, and then Tuesday for the collective show, getting back into it. Peace.